हाय फ्रेंड्स। ये वीडियो है, ये डिबेट है मोस्टली कर्नाटका का जो बजट आया रिसेंटली उसके ऊपर। और ये कार्टून आपको देखने से आपको ये समझ में आएगा कि ये एक मुस्लिम इंसान है और ये कांग्रेस उसको एक कपड़ा वाला पिज्जा पीस उसको दे रहा है खाने के लिए कि वही मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट का ही जो है केस, राइट? सेम वही वही है। तो इस डिबेट पे है सब लोग। देखते हैं क्या होता है, क्या बात करते हैं ये।
Let him ask those questions and then you can answer them.
Time to rebut it.
Anand Ranganathan, you had a 4-minute monologue. More than that is not allowed on the news hour. The time comes in, the bell comes in. But C.R. Keswan, I want to ask you what happens to the constitution, what happens to secularism, and the definition that the Congress party gave this country.
Good evening, Navika ji, and to all my fellow panelists and your audience. This is the most dangerous communal budget in the history of India. This divisive communal budget by a bigoted Congress government peddles and panders to the perilous politics of vote bank religious appeasement and vote bank Muslim appeasement. You cannot get more blatant than this, and see the stark difference. While on one side you have the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for whom the holy book is the Constitution and his dharma are constitutional values, and he has been protecting the rights of the SC, ST, OBC communities as guaranteed by Baba Saheb Ambedkar's Constitution. But here, blatant Muslim, pandering, and more importantly, the conspiracy by the Congress party is to snatch away the rights of the SC, ST, and OBC communities. Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji very clearly said, you cannot have religion-based constitution. Ambedkar ji was against religion-based constitution, but you look at the way these people operate, and Navika ji, this is not an ad hoc incident.
इंडिया में तो मुस्लिम एक्ट भी अलग से है, वक्फ बोर्ड भी अलग से है, शारिया और शाहिया कौन सा है वो भी तो एक बोर्ड है अलग से, उसका भी तो अलग से लॉ है। तो इतने सारे तो ऑलरेडी है हमारे ऊपर। मतलब ये नया तो नहीं है कि मतलब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हमारा एक नहीं है, इवन तो हमें एक ही होना चाहिए था इस पर, राइट?
You look at the history of I come to Karnataka, but you look at the history of the Congress party, especially when, UPA came to power. On one side, you have the Prime Minister who believes in Sarva Dharm Sambhav and Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. Here, the hearth is only for the Vikas of the minority. What happened in 2009? Late Manmohan Singh ji said the first right to resources is for minority, particularly Muslims. And 2011, the conspiracy, was exposed in 2011 when the UPA government issued an office memorandum trying to carve out a sub-quota from for 4.5% for Muslims from the 27% OBC quota. This is the sinister plan of the Congress ever. They want to take away the reservation of the OBCs and the SC, STs, and when they say we want to increase 50% reservation, no, it's a red herring. And look at what they did with Aligarh Muslim University and Jamia, government-run institution in 2011 and 1981, and Aligarh Muslim University, the SC/ST quotas went for a toss. It was given only, Muslim quota. And in the election, we'll never forget, the Prime Minister very correctly warned us. They talked about wealth distribution. They talked about the wicked wealth distribution and the sinister inheritance tax. You see this at play now. You see this, and what did the allies say? Pura ka pura. Lalu Prasad ji and Navika ji, remember MVA and Maharashtra. That is why they were defeated, which is why this India alliance is losing. MVA's manifesto, it was Muslim Vikas Aghadi. It was Muslim vote appeasement. That is what MVA stood for. Their manifesto reflected, pretty much what the All India Ulama Board said. And today, what has happened here is most condemnable, and the BJP will ensure that, the people of Karnataka are watching, and the kind of, injustice which is being done to them, and I think they'll give a
Absolutely.
Congress.
Absolutely, C.R. Keswan, you're bang on the point, and Tehseen Poonawala. Now, two questions. Two questions, because both of these are premises of Rahul Gandhi. Number one, that the backward classes, jati, jiski jitni abadi utna hak. Well, what happens to the backward classes? He's stitching up a PDA or a backward jati alliance. What is he doing? Taking away their rights and giving it to the minorities, number one. And number two, I come back to the question of the Constitution. How can the budget provision flout the articles of the Constitution that ban absolutely any quotas on the basis of religion? Tehseen Poonawala, please convince the nation on this, because Otherwise, this is being called a halal budget. The Congress party is being called the Muslim League party.
So there are three broad questions that were raised and a lot of things that are factually not correct. So I will come to all three of this. First of all, I never said that it is based on religion. I very categorically said that can be based on backwardness. For example, the Bafan community in Gujarat, the Dafad community in Gujarat, the Fakir community in Gujarat, the Hingoria community in Gujarat, the Garnara community in Gujarat, the Ansari community in Gujarat, the Jat community in Gujarat. Now, Jat Hindus don't get reservation in Gujarat. Jat Muslims get reservation in Gujarat. Second thing, my friend C.R. Kesavan said a very important thing. He said, look, AMU, the reservations for SC/STs were taken back. The matter recently went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled it's a minority institute. Leave all of that. Since 11 years, who's the Prime Minister of this country? Why couldn't the Prime Minister give justice to the SC and STs? Now, let's come to the most important case. I'd like a quote. This is a quote made a few days back. It says, the gentleman was a symbol of India's pluralistic and inclusive cultural identity. We celebrate his contribution to music, poetry, and the unification of diverse cultures. The gentleman who made this speech was the Honorable Prime Minister about the bigot that Anand Ranganathan ji said, Khusrao ji. Do you, and does the BJP believe Khusrao ji was a bigot? Is that what we are coming down to? Look, I have no problems with people's personal opinions. But then to make this, to link this to the Congress, I think it's a tad unfair, Dr. Anand. Please, you may respond to me. Karnataka's revenue deficit is amongst the third lowest in the country. Its revenue deficit, it's spending the second highest on infrastructure in the country. That is the budget. But we're debating 4,000.
Sometimes your logic is so unbearable that I certainly need a doctor at this point in time, because it is. If you're a medical doctor, yes, Anand Ranganathan, I need your help. I can barely breathe with the number of lies that are being piled on to us. But on the contracts. For government jobs, it's a blanket Muslim quota that has been put. Anand Ranganathan, ab ye Tehseen ko, I really don't have the patience to explain this to Tehseen. Please take over and explain how.
Navika, somewhere, I don't know where, Jinnah is smiling. Because in the end, he got not one, but two Islamic republics. Now, I want to ask a very pointed question to Tehseen. I know he's doing the semantics of other backward classes, not castes and Muslims. The fact is, Tehseen, do you deny the fact that Mr. Azim Premji was also eligible under the 4% blanket reservation Muslim quota? Any Muslim in Karnataka. It wasn't about class at all. So please do not obfuscate the matter. It was under the clause 2B of the OBC reservation. It was over and above what other Muslim classes have been given reservation. It was a proposal of Deva Gowda that was implemented by the Congress, and Mr. Keswan also needs to answer that until Mr. Bomai struck it off for 10 to 15 years with the central government and the state government both being BJP, that quota existed. So why even under the BJP governments in Karnataka, you were giving blanket 4% reservations to Muslim, Mr. Keshwan? You need to answer that as well.
In 2023, Anandji, this was cancelled by the BJP government, which was again reinstated by Congress. Let me complete.
For 10 years, it was
one thing. 2023, it was cancelled. The Congress brought it back. They'll be given a fitting reply. Navika ji, I just want to make one point. This communal
10 years before 2023,
Anandji, please let me make my point.
Anand, okay, let's not have crosstalk.
The communal budget of the Congress is straight out of Rahul Gandhi's book. It is straight out of Aurangzeb and Jinnah's book. Next time when they have an AICC session, don't be surprised, Navika ji, if the Congress has Aurangzeb, Jinnah and Tughlaq, in the posters and banners behind. Let us look at these contracts. I told in the Congress manifesto, for the Lok Sabha election, they tried to sneak this in. There was a furor at that time. Now the Congress party will try to distract, deflect, use red herrings and say, no, this is a separate category B. Let us look at the hard facts. Prior existing reservation is 43% in public contracts. Out of that, category 1 is 4%, category 2 is 15%. Now they say 4% category B is separate. No! What happens?
Sorry, ये screen पे क्या आ रहा है ये 100 crore for Urdu schools and 50,000 aid for Muslim marriages. Wow, seriously? यही बचा है अभी.
There is in the category 1 4% for OBC, 70 Muslim communities are there. In category 2A, 15% for the OBCs, 19 Muslim communities are there. Again, when they give, 4% of,
50% fee concession for Muslim students, 50 lakh for Muslim cultural events.
Muslim reservation, again the people who will be affected will be the OBC communities. This is what we are saying, that these people are betraying the spirit and betraying the ideals of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar ji and the guarantees given by the constitution for the SC, STs and OBCs, because they are trying to sneak it through the back door. And the people who are affected are the SC, ST, OBC communities. Today
Absolutely, and this flies in the face of both the constitutional provisions as well as social justice for the backward classes. And I want to ask,
मतलब यही होता है जब तुम कांग्रेस को सिलेक्ट करके लाते हो एक स्टेट चलाने के लिए, राइट? पता नहीं क्या हुआ था कर्नाटका में, क्या कैसे वोट डले थे या कैसे क्या पॉलिटिक्स चल रहा था उस वहाँ पे, राइट? पर यही होगा, मतलब यही होता है हर बार अगर तुम कांग्रेस जैसे किसी पार्टी को चूज करके लाते हो। सो बी वेरी केयरफुल विथ योर वोट, आई से। सबको, हिंदुओं को एटलीस्ट अपने वोट को डिवाइड नहीं करने देना चाहिए। हिंदू में प्रॉब्लम हुए थे कि हिंदू वोट डिवाइड हो जाता है और मुस्लिम वोट जो होता है वो फोकस्ड होता है एक पार्टी को देने के लिए, तो हमारा जो वोट होता है वो डिवाइड होके वो छोटा पड़ जाता है वो एट द एंड, राइट? तो सबके पास जाना चाहिए ये मैसेज, राइट, कि वोट करते हुए ध्यान से वोट करना और सब मिलके वोट करना एटलीस्ट। थैंक यू।